My dear child, before you take even one more step forward in this life, before you make that next phone call, before you send that message, before you open that door or close it, before you say yes or no to anything that is waiting for you right now, I need you to stop. Just stop. Right here, right now. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your feet on the ground beneath you. You are here. You are alive. And that alone is already a miracle worth pausing for. Because I want to speak to you today. Not at you. Not over you. Not around you. But directly to you. The real you. The you that nobody else fully sees. The you that is tired behind those eyes. The you that is holding questions nobody has answered yet. The you that has been strong for so long that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to just rest. I see that person. I know that person. And I love that person more than any word in any language could ever fully say. So please do not go anywhere. What I am about to share with you today is not just a collection of nice words to make you feel good for a few minutes. This is a message that was prepared for this exact moment in your life, for where you are right now, for what you are feeling right now, for what you are carrying right now. And if you stay with me all the way through, something inside you is going to shift. Something heavy is going to lift. Something that has been confused is going to become clear. I promise you that, my dear child. Let us begin with something that might be a little uncomfortable to hear. But I say it with all the tenderness in the world. You have been giving your peace away. And most of the time, you did not even realize it was happening. It did not happen all at once. It happened slowly, quietly, one small moment at a time. One extra yes when your heart was already exhausted. One more conversation that left you feeling worse than before it started. One more situation you stayed in long after it stopped being good for you. One more person you kept showing up for, even though they never once showed up for you. And each time you did that, a little piece of your peace walked out the door. A little piece of your joy got handed over to something or someone that did not deserve it. A little piece of the stillness I placed inside you got traded for noise, for drama, for chaos, for other people's emergencies, for their comfort at the expense of yours. And now here you are, feeling stretched too thin, feeling like you are running on empty, feeling like no matter how much you give, it is never quite enough, feeling like something is deeply off, but you cannot quite put your finger on what it is. I can tell you what it is, my child. It is the absence of your peace. And today, I am asking you to take it back. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now I need you to understand something very important right here. Your peace is not just a nice thing to have when life is easy. Your peace is not a luxury that you get to enjoy on vacation or on a good day. Your peace is not optional. It is essential. It is absolutely necessary. It is one of the most sacred things I have placed inside you. And when your peace is being constantly disrupted, when your inner world is always stirred up and unsettled, everything else in your life starts to fall apart too. Your ability to think clearly gets clouded. Your ability to hear my voice gets harder. Your ability to make good decisions gets weaker. Your ability to love people well gets strained. Your ability to heal, to grow, to move forward, all of it gets affected when your peace is being stolen from you day after day after day. That is why protecting your peace is not selfishness. Let me say that again clearly, because I know some of you have been told the opposite. Protecting your peace is not selfishness. It is stewardship. It is taking care of something precious that I entrusted to you. And when you fail to protect it, you are not just hurting yourself. You are also showing up for your life, for the people you love, for the purpose I have called you to, with less than what I designed you to carry. Think of it this way. Imagine a beautiful lamp. It is designed to give light to every room it is placed in. But if that lamp is constantly being moved from room to room, without ever being plugged in and recharged, eventually the light begins to flicker, and then it gets dim, and then one day it goes dark completely, not because the lamp is broken, not because the lamp is bad, but because it was never given the chance to receive power. My child, you are that lamp, and your peace is the power source. When you are constantly giving it away, without ever coming back to me to be recharged, you begin to dim. You begin to flicker. And the light that was meant to illuminate everything around you starts to fade. So let us talk about what has been stealing your peace. Because I need you to stop pretending it is not happening. I need you to stop dismissing the signs your own spirit has been sending you. Your body has been telling you. Your soul has been warning you. But you have been too busy, too afraid, too worried about disappointing others to listen. So let me help you see it clearly today. There are people in your life who consistently take more than they give. Every single time you leave a conversation with them, you feel drained. You feel heavier. You feel like something was pulled out of you. You replay the conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing, wondering if they are upset with you, wondering how to fix something that somehow always seems to need fixing. My child, that pattern, that consistent feeling of heaviness after every interaction, that is a sign. Pay attention to it. I am not telling you to hate these people. I am not telling you to be unkind. But I am telling you that unlimited access to your time, your energy, your heart, and your peace is a privilege. And that privilege should be reserved for those who handle it with care. There are also situations in your life that have been draining you. Commitments you made when you had more capacity than you have now. Responsibilities that were supposed to be temporary, but somehow became permanent. Habits and routines that once helped you, but have now become a source of pressure and exhaustion. Look at those things honestly today. Ask yourself a simple but powerful question. Is this still serving my life, my growth, my peace? Or am I just staying because I am afraid of what happens if I stop? And then there is the noise. Oh, my child, the noise. The constant scrolling. The endless opinions. The news that never stops. The comparisons. The pressure to keep up, to look a certain way, to achieve certain things by a certain age, to have everything figured out and looking perfect on the outside. All of that noise is stealing your peace. All of that noise is making it harder and harder for you to hear the one voice that actually knows the answers you are looking for. My voice. The still, quiet, gentle voice that speaks not in the loudness of the world, but in the silence of your heart. So here is what I am asking you to do. Start treating your peace like the treasure it is. Start making choices that protect it. Start noticing what consistently disturbs your inner world, and stop accepting it as just the way things have to be. Because here is the truth that I need to plant deeply in your heart right now. What you tolerate teaches your soul what to expect. What you repeatedly allow begins to shape the atmosphere you live in. If you keep making your peace negotiable, your life will keep feeling unstable in places where I want you grounded and secure. So begin to ask better questions. Not just can I handle this, but should I be handling this at all? Not just how do I manage this better, but is this something I should still be giving my energy to? Not just how do I survive this situation, but is this situation still supposed to have access to my life? Those questions matter. Those questions are the beginning of real wisdom. And if you are afraid that setting limits and protecting your peace will make you seem unkind, let me tell you something. The most loving thing you can do for the people around you is to stay whole. A person who is constantly depleted cannot truly give. A person who has nothing left cannot genuinely help. A person who has lost their peace cannot bring peace into someone else's life. So protecting yourself is not a selfish act. It is actually an act of love. Because when you are whole, when you are rested, when your peace is intact, you have so much more to offer the world around you. Protecting your peace will sometimes require courage. It will require you to have conversations you have been putting off. It will require you to say no to things that you would have said yes to before. It will require you to disappoint people who have gotten used to you having no limits. It will require you to let some opportunities pass because the cost to your inner stability is simply too high. And yes, some of that will feel uncomfortable. Some of it will bring up feelings of guilt, of fear, of uncertainty. That is normal. Growth always feels a little uncomfortable at first. But I want you to remember this. Anything that consistently demands the sacrifice of your peace in order to stay in your life is too expensive. If a relationship can only survive when you are anxious and walking on eggshells, it is too expensive. If an opportunity can only remain open when you are burning yourself out to chase it, it is too expensive. If a habit keeps stealing the stillness I am trying to grow in you, it is too expensive. You do not have to keep paying those prices. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to choose peace, even when the world tells you to choose performance. Now, friends, if this message is speaking to your heart right now, if you are feeling something shifting inside you as you listen, I want to pause here for just a moment and invite you to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Every single day we come together in this space to receive messages of healing, hope, faith, and wisdom that speak directly to where you are in life. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a message that was made just for you. And now let us continue because we are just getting started. My dear child, I want to talk to you now about something that is connected to your peace in a way you may not have fully understood yet. I want to talk to you about your emotions, about your feelings, about the loud, powerful, sometimes overwhelming world that lives inside your chest, because your feelings are real. Every single one of them. I made your heart. I understand your emotions even better than you do yourself. I know what fear feels like before you even put a name to it. I know how disappointment settles into your thoughts like a heavy fog. I know how longing can blur your vision and make things look brighter than they really are. I know how loneliness can make familiar things feel comforting, even when they are not good for you. I know how silence can feel unbearably heavy. I know how delay can scratch at old wounds. I know how a sudden opportunity can make your pulse rise and your mind race ahead of your peace. I know all of it, every bit of it, and I am not asking you to pretend those feelings are not there. I am not asking you to stuff them down or ignore them or put on a brave face when your heart is actually breaking. Your feelings deserve to be acknowledged. They deserve to be named. They deserve to be brought into the light. But here is what I need you to understand today. Your feelings, as real and as powerful as they are not always the best leaders. They can tell you what is happening inside you, but they should not automatically decide what happens next in your life. Your feelings can point to pain, to fear, to hope, to desire, to exhaustion, to grief, to excitement. But feelings are like weather. They change. They shift. And building your life based entirely on the weather of any given moment is like building a house on sand. It might feel solid for a little while, but the first storm will reveal the weakness of the foundation. So when your feelings are loud, and they will be loud, when they are telling you to move fast, to go back, to reach out, to hold on, to run away, to force something open, to close something that should stay open, I am asking you to pause, to breathe, to bring those feelings to me before you act on them. Because intensity is not the same as authority. The fact that a feeling is strong does not mean it is right. The fact that a desire is powerful does not mean it is meant to be followed right now. The fact that something feels urgent does not mean it is wise to rush. This is one of the most important lessons I want you to learn in this season of your life. You can feel deeply and still choose wisely. You can be moved without being swept away. You can experience powerful emotions without letting them sit on the throne of your life, where only my wisdom belongs. That combination, feeling deeply but choosing from a place of peace and trust rather than panic and urgency, that is where real strength lies. That is maturity. That is what I have been building in you through every hard season, every painful lesson, every moment of waiting that felt like it would never end. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit our Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express, and I want you to know something beautiful. Every single time you choose to trust me more than your feelings in a difficult moment, you are not just making one good decision. You are teaching your soul a new way of living. You are teaching your heart that it is safe to wait. You are teaching your body that not every moment of uncertainty is a crisis. You are teaching your mind that not every strong thought deserves to be acted upon immediately. You are teaching your spirit that my voice can be followed even when your emotions are in an uproar. And over time, that changes everything. The old cycles that used to control you begin to weaken. The old triggers that used to send you spiraling begin to lose their power. The old patterns that used to repeat themselves over and over begin to break, because you are no longer feeding them with immediate emotional reaction. That is the kind of freedom I want for you. Not a life without feelings, not a cold, detached, emotionless existence, but a life where your feelings are held in my hands. A life where tenderness is not so easily manipulated. A life where desire is refined by truth before it becomes a decision. A life where you can say, I feel this strongly, but I am going to bring it to my Father before I act on it. That is a powerful way to live. So right now, wherever you are, whatever you are feeling in this moment, I want you to do something. I want you to be honest with me. Not the polished, spiritual, together version of you. The real version. The version that is tired or confused or afraid or tempted or grieving or impatient or unsure. That version is welcome here. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you are afraid of. Tell me what you are tempted to do. Tell me what is hard to let go of. Tell me all of it. Bring every single piece of it into the light. And then, after you have been honest, do the brave thing. Place your feelings in my hands. Say, Father, these feelings are real, but you are bigger. These emotions are loud, but your voice is truer. This urge is strong, but your peace matters more than this moment. Say that and mean it. That prayer, that simple act of surrender, that is where lives begin to change. My dear child, I want to speak to you now about the season you are in, because I see it clearly even if you cannot. I see a season that is ending, and I see a new one preparing to begin. And there is a very important thing I need to tell you about this transition. It requires your stillness. It requires your willingness to pause, because change, real change, the deep and lasting kind, does not come to people who are always rushing. It comes to people who have learned to be still long enough for it to arrive. You feel it, do you not? Something has been shifting beneath the surface of your life. The things that used to excite you feel different now. The places where you used to feel comfortable have begun to feel a little too small. The relationships that used to feel easy have started to reveal their true depth or their true shallowness. The plans you made with such certainty are now asking to be reconsidered. That feeling, that mixture of restlessness and anticipation, and uncertainty and quiet excitement all stirred together, that is not anxiety. That is transition. And transition, no matter how uncomfortable it feels in the moment, is always the space between the old and the better. But here is where so many people make a costly mistake. They cannot tolerate the discomfort of transition. They cannot sit in the in-between. So they rush. They force the next chapter to begin before the current one is finished. They grab the first open door they see because waiting feels unbearable. They make decisions out of discomfort rather than direction. And then they wonder why the new season feels just as heavy as the old one. My child, I am asking you today not to rush this. I know waiting is hard. I know uncertainty feels awful. I know you want answers and clarity and resolution right now. I know the silence of this season can feel louder than any noise you have ever heard. But rushing ahead of me right now would cost you something you cannot afford to lose. Because what is coming in your next chapter is worth waiting for. What I am preparing you for is bigger than what you are trying to force. And the depth of what I want to do in your life requires a depth of preparation that cannot be skipped. So let me tell you what I am actually doing in this time of waiting. This time that feels like nothing is happening, but actually everything is happening beneath the surface. I am strengthening parts of you that were too weak for what is coming. I am healing wounds that would have caused you to mishandle the blessing if it had come earlier. I am clearing your spiritual vision so that when the door opens, you will be able to see it clearly rather than walking past it. I am removing things from your life, including some things you did not want to let go of, because they would have held you back from fully stepping into what is next. I am teaching you how to hear my voice more clearly, so that when the moment comes, you will not miss it. All of this is happening right now, in this very season that feels so quiet and uncertain. So embrace this pause. Welcome the stillness. I know that goes against every instinct you have. I know everything in you wants to move, to do something, to make something happen. But there is profound power in learning to wait well. There is something being built in you right now, in the waiting that cannot be built any other way. The seed underground is not doing nothing. It is becoming a tree. My dear child, I want you to take a breath right now, a real one, slow and deep, because what I am about to share with you in this next part of our time together is something that goes even deeper than what we have already spoken about. We have talked about peace. We have talked about trust. We have talked about surrendering your feelings and releasing your past. And all of that matters enormously. But now I want to go even further. I want to take you into the places inside yourself that you rarely let anyone see. The hidden rooms, the locked doors, the quiet corners of your heart where the real questions live. Because that is where I want to meet you today, not in the polished, presentable version of yourself, but in the real, unfiltered, vulnerable truth of who you actually are when nobody is watching. You have become very good at presenting a certain version of yourself to the world. You have learned exactly what to say and how to say it. You have learned how to look like you have it together, even on the days when everything inside you feels like it is unraveling. You have learned how to smile at the right moments, how to give the right answers, how to appear strong when you are actually exhausted, how to appear confident when you are actually terrified, how to appear peaceful when your inner world is anything but peaceful. And I understand why you learned those things. The world often rewards the performance and punishes the honesty, people get uncomfortable when you tell them how you really feel. So over time, you learn to keep it inside. You learn to manage it privately. You learn to carry it alone. But my child, that way of living has a cost, and you have been paying that cost for a long time now. The cost is this. When you are always performing, you never get to rest. When you are always managing appearances, you never get to be known. When you are always carrying things alone, the weight keeps accumulating until it becomes impossible to move forward freely. And the saddest part of all is this. The very person you are hiding from me is the only one who already knows everything you are hiding. I see the performance and I see what is underneath it. I see the smile and I see the tears it is covering. I see the strength and I see the exhaustion behind it. I see the confidence and I see the fear that is quietly whispering underneath it. I see all of it, and I love all of it, not despite the messy parts, but including them. So I want to invite you today to stop performing, at least in this moment, at least with me. You do not need to show me your best self. You do not need to have the right words, or the right attitude, or the right level of faith. You can come exactly as you are, with exactly what you are feeling, with exactly what you are carrying, and I will not be disappointed. I will not be shocked. I will not turn away. I will simply be here, as I always am, waiting, welcoming, ready to hold whatever you bring. Now let us talk about something that I know is quietly eating away at some of you. And that is the question of whether you are enough. Because somewhere along the way, most of my children pick up a belief that they are somehow fundamentally lacking, not quite smart enough or talented enough or disciplined enough or spiritual enough or lovable enough, not quite worthy of the good things that seem to come so easily to other people. And this belief, this quiet but powerful conviction that something is fundamentally wrong with you, shapes everything. It shapes how you speak about yourself. It shapes how you receive love. It shapes how you approach opportunities. It shapes how you respond to mistakes. It shapes whether you dare to dream, or whether you shrink back before you even begin. I need to speak directly into that belief today, and I need to be very clear. It is a lie. You are enough. Not because you have earned it. Not because you have performed perfectly. Not because you have figured everything out or healed from everything or grown past every weakness. You are enough because I made you. And I do not make things that are fundamentally lacking. I do not create people who are inherently unworthy. Every single person I bring into this world carries my image, my breath, my fingerprint on their soul, including you, especially you. Now I know that simply telling you this does not immediately make you feel it. Beliefs that have been built up over years of experiences, over hurtful words spoken by people who should have known better, over disappointments that seem to confirm your worst fears about yourself. Those beliefs do not dissolve overnight just because someone tells you a different truth. I know that. So I am not just telling you this and walking away. I am asking you to let me work with you on this, to let me begin to dismantle those old beliefs one layer at a time, to let me show you, through the way I move in your life, that the story you have been telling yourself about who you are is not the story I have been writing about you. My story about you is one of dignity, of purpose, of love that does not waver based on performance. My story about you is one where your weaknesses become places where my strength is made visible, where your wounds become sources of wisdom and compassion, where your failures become the very experiences that qualify you to help others who are walking the same road. My story about you is one where nothing is wasted, not the pain, not the confusion, not the mistakes, not the detours, not even the seasons that feel completely pointless right now. Everything in my hands becomes material for something meaningful, So start today to question the old story. When the voice inside your head says you are not enough, ask where that voice actually came from. Did it come from me? Did it come from truth? Or did it come from a wound? From a comparison? From someone who was themselves too broken to see you clearly? Question the source before you accept the conclusion. And then bring the question to me. Bring the place that feels lacking, that feels deficient, that feels not enough, and let me show you what I actually see when I look at that part of you. My dear child, I want to talk to you now about relationships. Because for so many of you, this is where so much of the pain lies. This is where some of the deepest wounds come from. And this is also where some of the greatest confusion about my will for your life exists. Who to let in and who to create distance from. Who to forgive and what forgiveness actually means in practice. When to fight for a connection and when to accept that it has run its course. When holding on is faithfulness and when holding on is simply fear of change wearing the costume of loyalty. Let me start here. Not every person who enters your life is meant to stay for the whole journey. Some people come into your life for a season. They are there for a specific purpose, to teach you something, to help you through something, to reflect something back to you that you needed to see, to share a particular stretch of road with you. And when that season ends, when the purpose of that connection has been fulfilled, there is a natural completion, not a failure, not a betrayal, a completion. The problem comes when you refuse to let the season end. When you grip so tightly to what was that you cannot receive what is coming. When you spend so much energy trying to maintain a connection that has naturally concluded that you have no energy left for the new connections I am trying to bring into your life. Learn to hold relationships with open hands. This does not mean you love people less. It actually means you love them more purely, because you are loving them for who they are rather than for what you need them to be for you. Holding relationships with open hands means you appreciate the time you had. You receive what the connection offered. You release without bitterness when the season changes. And you trust me to bring the right people at the right time for the right reasons. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. Now I also need to talk to you about the people who have hurt you, because I know they are there. I know there are names in your heart right now attached to pain. People who disappointed you, people who betrayed you, people who said things that left marks that never quite healed, people who took from you without giving back, people who saw your vulnerability and used it rather than honoring it, people who left when they promised to stay, people who stayed but made you wish they had left. I see the full list. I know every name on it. And I want to address something about that list today. Forgiveness. I know that word can feel complicated. I know it can feel like it asks too much, especially when the wound is deep and the person who caused it has never acknowledged it, never apologized, never shown any sign of understanding what they did. So let me tell you what forgiveness actually is and what it is not, because I think there is a lot of confusion about this. Forgiveness is not saying that what happened was okay. It was not okay. I know that. You know that. And you do not have to pretend otherwise in order to forgive. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiving someone does not automatically mean you restore the relationship to what it was or give them access to your life again. Sometimes forgiveness and distance can coexist. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is forgive someone completely in your heart while also maintaining clear limits about their place in your life going forward. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It does not mean the memory disappears. It does not mean you pretend the event never happened. Forgiveness is not for their benefit primarily. It is for yours. Here is what forgiveness actually is. Forgiveness is the decision to release your grip on the debt you feel they owe you. It is the choice to stop letting what they did continue to steal your present by keeping you emotionally locked in your past. It is handing the matter over to me rather than carrying the weight of it yourself. It is saying, I am not going to let this person or this event have ongoing power over my peace, my joy, my capacity to move forward. That is forgiveness. And when you do it, even imperfectly, even when the feelings have not fully caught up to the decision yet, something releases in you. Something that has been holding you in place finally lets go. And you find that you can breathe in a way that you have not been able to breathe for a long time. I am not asking you to feel instant warmth toward the person who hurt you. I am not asking you to go back to the relationship as if nothing happened. I am asking you to release the hold that the wound has on you, and I will help you do it. You do not have to do it in your own strength. Bring me the wound. Bring me the anger and the grief and the confusion and the residue of what was done to you, and let me carry it. Let me be the judge of what happened. Let me deal with what was done, and let me give you back your freedom from it. Because you deserve to be free. You deserve to move through your life without the weight of old wounds dragging behind you like chains. You deserve to be present in the beauty of today without being constantly pulled back into the pain of yesterday. And forgiveness, even when it is hard, even when it is a daily decision rather than a one-time event, is the path to that freedom. My dear child, I want to talk to you now about purpose. Because underneath all of the questions about relationships and decisions and peace and healing, there is often a deeper question, a question that many of you are almost afraid to say out loud because it feels too big, too personal, too vulnerable. And that question is this: what am I here for? What does my life actually mean? Is there a reason I was put here in this specific body, in this specific time in history, with these specific experiences and abilities and struggles? Is there a plan? Is there a purpose? Or is it all just random chance? My child, let me answer that question as directly as I possibly can. You were not an accident, not even remotely. Every detail of who you are was decided before you ever drew your first breath. The family you were born into, the gifts you carry, the personality that is uniquely yours, the capacity for love and creativity and compassion and resilience that lives in you, even the specific struggles and hardships that have shaped your story. All of it was known. All of it was considered. All of it is being woven into a purpose that is specific to you and to the time and place where your life is unfolding. Now I want to be honest with you about something. Your purpose is probably not what you think it is. Most people, when they think about purpose, think about a grand public achievement, a platform or a title or a legacy that the world can see and measure and applaud. And while some people are indeed called to very visible roles, the majority of purpose happens quietly, in ordinary moments, in ordinary places, in the daily, faithful, sometimes invisible ways that you love the people around you. Show up with integrity when it would be easier not to. Use your gifts even in small settings. Bring light into dark rooms simply by being present. And choose kindness and truth, even when neither is convenient. Your purpose is not somewhere out there waiting for you to discover it on some dramatic mountaintop moment. Your purpose is already happening in the choices you make every single day, the way you treat the person who cannot do anything for you, the way you show up for someone who is struggling, the way you create beauty and goodness in whatever small space you inhabit, the way you refuse to give up even when giving up would be the easier path. All of that is purpose. All of that is meaning. All of that matters to me and to the people whose lives intersect with yours. But I also want to speak to those of you who are feeling a pull towards something specific. A dream that has been sitting in your heart for a long time, sometimes growing louder, sometimes going quiet but never fully disappearing. A vision for something you want to create or build or do or become. A sense that there is something you are made for that you have not yet fully stepped into. I see that dream. I put it there. And I want to speak to you about it honestly. That dream is real. That pull is real. The thing you feel drawn toward is not a fantasy or a delusion. It is a seed that I planted in your spirit. And like all seeds, it requires time and the right conditions and patient tending before it becomes the full, flourishing thing it was created to be. The reason you have not yet seen it come to full expression is not because it was the wrong dream. It is not because you are the wrong person. It is because seeds take time, and the time between the planting and the harvest is not empty time. It is essential time. It is the time when roots are growing deep. It is the time when the foundation is being strengthened. It is the time when you are being prepared to steward what is coming. So do not abandon the dream because it is taking longer than you expected. Do not trade it in for something smaller and safer and more immediately attainable just because the waiting is uncomfortable. Do not let the gap between where you are and where you feel called to be make you conclude that the calling was wrong. Instead, ask me what this season of preparation is building in you. Ask me what you need to learn, develop, practice, or release in order to be ready for what is coming. Ask me how to be faithful in the small things right now, so that when the door opens for the bigger things, you are actually ready to walk through it. And while you are waiting for the dream to unfold, give yourself permission to enjoy the journey. This is something I see so many of my children struggle with. They put their enjoyment of life on hold until they reach a certain destination. They tell themselves they will be happy when this happens, or when that changes. But my child, I did not design your life to be endured until you arrive somewhere. I designed it to be lived fully, richly, gratefully, every step of the way. The ordinary moments of today are not the waiting room for the good part of your life. They are the good part. They are the gift. They are where I meet you most often and most intimately. So be present today. Be here now. Appreciate what is right in front of you, even while you hold hope for what is still becoming. There is a way to be deeply grateful for today and still genuinely expectant about tomorrow. And that combination, gratitude and hope living side by side, is one of the most beautiful ways a human being can move through this world. My dear child, I want to spend some time with you now on the topic of faith, because faith is so often misunderstood. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is not the performance of certainty. Faith is not pretending you have no questions or no fears or no moments of wondering whether any of this is real and whether I am truly there. Faith, real faith, the kind that I honor and work with and reward, is a choice made in the presence of uncertainty. It is saying, even though I cannot fully see, I am going to trust. Even though this makes no sense to my human mind, I am going to believe. Even though the evidence in front of me looks contradictory, I am going to hold on to what I know to be true about my Father. That kind of faith is not weak. It is extraordinarily strong. Anyone can trust when everything is going well, when the evidence is clear, when the path is obvious, when the provision is visible. But to trust when things are hard, when the path is unclear, when the provision has not yet arrived, when the answer has not yet come, when the healing has not yet manifested, when the promise has not yet become visible. That is the kind of faith that moves things. That is the kind of faith that I call my children to. And that is the kind of faith that I see being built in you right now, in this very season. I want to talk specifically to those of you who have been waiting for something for a very long time. Those of you who prayed and believed and stood on a promise and did everything you knew to do, and the answer still has not come. Those of you who are beginning to wonder if I heard you, if the promise was real, if you misunderstood something, if something you did somehow disqualified you from receiving what you were trusting me for. I want to speak to you very directly right now. I heard every prayer, every single one. I heard the ones you prayed with confidence and the ones you whispered through tears. I heard the ones you prayed in the middle of the night when you felt completely alone. I heard the ones you gave up on finishing because you were too tired to complete the sentence. I heard all of them, and every single one of them matters to me. Not one word has fallen to the ground unheard, and the answer is coming. I know you have heard that before. I know it can sound like an empty reassurance when you have been waiting so long, but I need you to understand something about how I work with time. My timing is not arbitrary. It is not random. It is not me forgetting or being indifferent or making you wait just because I can. My timing is always purposeful. There is always a reason why now is not yet the right moment for what you are waiting for. Either you are still being prepared to receive it, or the circumstances that need to align for it to be the blessing I intend it to be are still coming together, or there is something I am protecting you from by not releasing it yet, or there is something I am building in you through the waiting itself that cannot be built any other way. I need you to trust the timing even when you do not understand it. I need you to refuse the conclusion that silence means absence. I need you to choose to believe that delay is not denial. And I need you to keep showing up faithfully in the waiting, not because you have worked up enough positive feeling to do so, but because you have made the decision that I am trustworthy regardless of what the circumstances look like in any given moment. That is faith. That is the posture I am asking you to hold. And I promise you this: everything you are trusting me for is being worked on. Everything I have promised you is already in motion. The outcome is not in doubt from where I stand. And when it arrives, when you finally see it unfold, you will understand the timing in a way you cannot understand it now. You will look back and see why the waiting was necessary. You will see what was being built in you. You will see what was being arranged on your behalf. And in that moment, the weight of the waiting will be transformed into the depth of the gratitude. And it will be worth it. My dear child, let us talk now about the practical reality of your daily life, because I do not want this conversation to be only about spiritual concepts that feel beautiful in the moment, but then fade as soon as you step back into the noise and demands of your ordinary day. I want this to be something you can actually live, something that changes how you move through your Tuesday morning and your Thursday afternoon and your Sunday evening. So let me talk to you about the rhythms of a life that is genuinely connected to me, because connection with me is not primarily about dramatic mountaintop moments. It is not primarily about emotional peak experiences or powerful feelings in a church service or hearing an audible voice from the sky. Connection with me is built in the ordinary, quiet, daily rhythms of a life that is turned toward me. And those rhythms, when they are genuinely practiced, change everything about how you experience your life. The first rhythm is simply coming to me at the beginning of your day, before the phone, before the news, before the demands of other people start reaching for your attention. Just a few moments of sitting with me in the quiet, of acknowledging that this day belongs to me as much as it belongs to you, of asking me to be present with you in it, of listening before you start speaking. This one practice, This simple discipline of beginning the day in my presence, rather than in the noise of the world, has the power to shift the entire tone of everything that follows. Not because magic happens the moment you do it, but because you are orienting your heart toward me, before anything else orients it toward fear, or comparison, or urgency, or distraction. The second rhythm is bringing me into your decisions throughout the day. Not just the big ones, the small ones too. The conversation you are not sure how to approach, the email you are composing, the choice between two paths when both seem reasonable, the temptation that is presenting itself, the opportunity that has appeared. In all of it, in the small fabric of ordinary moments, practice the habit of checking in with me. A simple, quiet pause. Father, what do you think about this? Father, which way do you want me to go here? Father, help me respond rather than react in this moment. That kind of ongoing conversation throughout the day is what genuine relationship with me looks like. It is not limited to formal prayer times. It is woven through everything. The third rhythm is gratitude. This one is more powerful than most people realize. Gratitude is not simply a positive thinking exercise. It is a spiritual practice that fundamentally reorients the way you see your life. When you practice gratitude genuinely, not as a performance, but as a real discipline of noticing and naming what is good, it begins to shift your default attention. Your brain naturally tends to focus on what is wrong, what is missing, what is threatening, what is not working yet. That tendency toward negativity bias was meant to protect you, but in excess it keeps you living in a state of chronic dissatisfaction, regardless of how many good things are actually present in your life. Gratitude interrupts that tendency. It trains your attention to notice what is already here, already working, already beautiful, already enough. And over time, it changes the entire atmosphere of your inner world. So practice it daily. Not on the days when everything is going well and gratitude feels easy, but especially on the hard days, especially when the struggle is real, especially when the faith is being tested. Find the things that are still true, still good, still present, still worthy of acknowledgement, and name them, out loud if possible. Write them down. Tell me about them, because gratitude is not just an attitude, it is a form of worship. And worship, genuine worship, shifts the spiritual atmosphere around your life in ways that are real and tangible, even when you cannot immediately see the evidence. The fourth rhythm is rest, real rest, not just the absence of business, not just collapsing into sleep because you are exhausted, but genuine, intentional, unhurried rest, the kind that allows your body to recover, your mind to reset, your spirit to breathe. I built rest into the rhythm of creation on purpose, not because I ran out of things to do on the seventh day, but because I wanted to establish from the very beginning of time that rest is not laziness, rest is not wasted time, rest is sacred, rest is productive in ways that cannot be measured by output. Rest is where your mind makes connections it could not make while running at full speed. Rest is where your body heals from the stress that accumulates in the constant push. Rest is where your spirit receives what it cannot receive in the noise. So give yourself permission to rest, without guilt, without the constant feeling that you should be doing something more productive. Rest is part of the design. Honor it. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. Now, my dear child, I want to address something that I see many of you carrying, and I want to address it with great tenderness. It is the weight of comparison, the constant measuring of your life against other people's lives, the scrolling through images of other people's achievements and relationships and appearances and lifestyles, and feeling something shrink inside you as you look at what they have that you do not. The quiet but corrosive belief that somehow everyone else is ahead of you, doing better than you, living more fully than you, deserving more than you. I need to tell you something about comparison that will hopefully help you see it differently. When you compare your life to someone else's, you are always comparing the full truth of your behind-the-scenes reality to the carefully selected highlight reel of theirs. You see their best moments, their proudest achievements, their most beautiful days. You do not see their 3 a.m. tears. You do not see the conversations they are struggling through. You do not see the fears they are carrying. You do not see the parts of their story that look just as messy and unresolved as yours. Every single person you are comparing yourself to is fighting battles you know nothing about. Every single highlight you are measuring yourself against is only a fraction of the full picture. But more importantly than that, comparison is fundamentally flawed as a measurement tool, because I did not make any two lives the same. I did not give you the same gifts, the same timing, the same path, the same purpose as anyone else. Your life is not meant to look like anyone else's life. It is meant to look like yours. The specific, unrepeatable, one-of-a-kind story that I am writing for you and only you. When you compare that story to someone else's, you are essentially saying that my design for your life is somehow inferior to my design for theirs. And that is simply not true. You are not behind anyone. You are on your own path, moving at the pace that is right for your specific journey. The timing of your life is not a mistake. The particular shape of your calling is not a lesser version of someone else's. The specific gifts you carry are not less valuable because they are different from the gifts that get the most public attention. Every part of what makes you uniquely you was chosen by me with great care and great purpose. So stop measuring it against a standard that was never meant to apply to you. Run your own race. That is the only race that matters. And the only competition that counts is not with anyone around you, but with who you were yesterday. Are you a little kinder than you were? A little braver? A little more honest? A little more faithful? A little more willing to trust? That growth, however small and invisible it might seem, is what I am watching. That is what I am cheering for. That is what I call success. My dear child, I want to talk to you now about one of the most important things I need to say in this entire message. And it is this: you are in a spiritual battle. I do not say that to frighten you. I say it so that you can stop being surprised when life is hard. Stop interpreting difficulty as evidence that you are doing something wrong, or that I have abandoned you, or that your faith is not working. Difficulty is not primarily a sign of failure. It is often a sign that you are moving in a direction that matters. The enemy of your soul does not bother much with people who are not going anywhere. He saves his most concerted efforts for the ones who are on the verge of something significant, for the ones who are about to break free from an old cycle, for the ones who are getting close to walking through a door that will change their trajectory, for the ones who are growing in a way that will make them more effective, more whole, more dangerous to the darkness. If you are experiencing intense resistance, intense pressure, intense opposition, consider the possibility that it is not a sign that you should stop. It might be the clearest evidence yet that you should keep going. But I also want you to know how to stand in this battle without being destroyed by it. You do not fight in your own strength. That is the first and most important thing. When you try to fight spiritual battles with only human resources, with your own willpower and cleverness and determination, you will be overwhelmed. Not because you are weak, but because the battle is spiritual, and spiritual battles require spiritual weapons. The most powerful things in your arsenal are not strategy or effort or persistence, though those have their place. The most powerful things are prayer, truth, and my word. Prayer is not just asking me for things. Prayer is the conversation that keeps you connected to the source of your actual strength. When you are in prayer, you are drawing from a power that is infinitely greater than anything you can generate within yourself. When you are in prayer, you are giving me access to work in ways that your independent efforts cannot produce. So pray, not as a religious obligation, as a lifeline, as a genuine communication between a child and a father who is deeply invested in the outcome of your life. Truth is a weapon because the enemy's primary tool is deception. He works through lies. Lies about who you are. Lies about what is possible. Lies about what I think of you. Lies about whether things can change. Lies about whether you are too far gone, or too broken, or too late. When you fill your mind and your heart with truth, with what I have actually said about you, and about life, and about what is possible, the lies lose their grip, not overnight, but progressively. One replaced lie at a time, one truth planted more deeply at a time. So know the truth. Speak the truth over yourself. Refuse to give the lies a comfortable home in your thinking. And my word, the scriptures, is food for your spirit in the battle. It is not just information. It is living, active, powerful. When you read it with a genuine hunger, when you let it speak to your specific situation, when you receive it not just as ancient text, but as my voice speaking directly to you right now, it does something in you that nothing else can do. It builds you up in places that have been torn down. It establishes confidence where doubt has been eroding. It gives you language for truths you could feel but could not articulate. It reminds you of who you are when the battle is trying to make you forget. So arm yourself. Stay close to me. Stay in communication with me. Stay in my word. Not because it is a religious duty, but because it is how you stay strong. It is how you stay clear. It is how you stay anchored when the storm is doing everything it can to uproot you. My dear child, I want to speak now to the specific feeling that I know many of you carry. The feeling of being unseen, of working hard and giving much and trying faithfully, and somehow still feeling like it does not fully register. Like your efforts go unnoticed. Like your sacrifices are taken for granted. Like your faithfulness is invisible to the people who should be acknowledging it. That feeling is one of the loneliest feelings there is. And I want you to know that I see it in you. I see you showing up quietly and consistently in ways that most people walk right past without noticing. I see the things you do in private that nobody applauds. I see the love you give that does not get reciprocated. I see the faithfulness you maintain when it would be easier to give up. I see the courage it takes to keep going when the encouragement is minimal. And I want to say to you clearly, none of it is invisible to me. Not one thing. Every act of genuine faithfulness, every private sacrifice, every quiet kindness, every moment of choosing to do the right thing when the wrong thing would have been easier, all of it is seen, known, and treasured by me. You are not working in the dark. You are not unknown. You are not unnoticed. I see everything, and I also want to say this. The validation you are looking for from other people, the acknowledgement, the recognition, the sense of being truly seen and appreciated, I understand that need. I built that need into you. Human beings are relational. We need to feel known. We need to feel that our existence matters to the people around us. That is not vanity. That is design. But my child, when you make your sense of worth entirely dependent on other people's ability to see and acknowledge you, you hand your well-being to people who are often too preoccupied with their own struggles to give you what you need. People will miss things. People will fail to say the words you needed to hear. People will be blind to what you are carrying because they are blinded by their own weight. and that is painful. But it does not have to be devastating, because you have a Father who never misses a thing, who never fails to see, who never looks past you, because he is distracted by something more important. To me, you are always the most important person in the room. Receive that. Let it be the foundation of your sense of worth, rather than building that foundation on the shifting, unreliable ground of other people's attention and approval. My dear child, we are drawing toward the close of this part of our journey together. But before I leave you, I want to spend a few moments talking about hope, because I am aware that some of you have been through enough hard seasons that hope feels dangerous. You have hoped before. You have trusted before. You have believed before, and things did not turn out the way you prayed they would. And now hope feels risky. It feels like setting yourself up for another disappointment. It feels easier and safer to keep your expectations low, to protect yourself from the pain of believing for something that might not come. I understand that self-protection mechanism. I know why you built it. But I need to tell you something about hope as I define it. Hope in me is not wishful thinking. It is not naive optimism that ignores reality. It is not pretending that everything will be exactly as you imagined it. Hope in me is a confident expectation based on the unchanging reliability of my character. I cannot lie. I do not abandon. I do not forget. I do not start something in someone's life and then lose interest in finishing it. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that means that what I have started in your life, I will complete. The work I have begun in you, I will finish. The promises that carry my name on them, they will not return to me empty. So dare to hope again. Not in a particular outcome looking exactly as you pictured it, but in the goodness of a Father who is working all things together for your benefit, even when you cannot see how the pieces fit. Dare to believe that your story is not finished. Dare to trust that the hardest chapters are not the last chapters. Dare to hold on to the possibility that what feels like an ending is actually a turning point. Because that is what I am. I am the God of turning points. I am the one who makes ways where there are no ways. I am the one who brings life to things that looked like they were beyond any possibility of revival. I am the one who takes the broken and makes it whole, who takes the lost and brings them home, who takes the fallen and sets them on their feet again. That is who you are trusting. That is the one who is holding your story. So do not give up on hope. Let it be a quiet, steady, underground stream running through your life. Not the loud, performative hope that collapses at the first difficulty, but the deep-rooted, grounded hope that persists even in winter, because it knows that winter does not last and spring always comes. And as you carry that hope, carry it with this knowledge settled deeply in your heart. You are not walking into your future alone. Every step forward, every hard day, every moment of uncertainty, every threshold that feels terrifying to cross, I am there, not watching from a distance, not observing from afar, right there, beside you, within you, ahead of you, behind you, all around you, more present than the air you breathe, more constant than the ground beneath your feet, more faithful than the rising of the sun. You are loved with a love that has no beginning and no end. You are known with a knowing that reaches to your deepest and most private places. You are held by hands that are strong enough to carry everything that is too heavy for you. And you are led by a voice that always knows the way. So take my hand. Keep walking, and do not stop believing that the best of your story is still ahead of you. Because, my dear child, it is. I promise you it is. Every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through Ko-Fi or PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. And while you wait, I want to talk to you about the decisions ahead of you. Because some of you are at a crossroads right now. Some of you have a choice to make that feels enormous. Some of you have been going back and forth, trying to figure out the right move. And the pressure of that decision is adding to everything else you are carrying. So let me give you something today. Let me give you a framework for how I lead my children into the right decisions. Every decision that comes from me will be built on three things: faith, wisdom, and peace. Let me explain each one simply. Faith means you trust my goodness, even when the path is not completely clear. It means you believe that I am working, even when you cannot see the evidence yet. It means you take the next step that I have shown you, even when you cannot see the 10 steps beyond it. Faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is choosing to trust me, even when the questions are still there. Wisdom means you are thinking clearly and honestly. It means you are looking at the real facts of your situation without the distortion of fear or desire. It means you are measuring your options against the truth of my word, and not just against what feels good in the moment. Wisdom is practical. Wisdom asks, what does the evidence actually show? What does the pattern reveal? What does the outcome look like if I follow this path to its natural end? And peace, my child, peace is the most important test of all. My peace is like an internal signal in your soul. When a decision is truly from me, even if it is a hard one, even if it costs you something, there will be a deep, settled, steady sense of rightness underneath all the emotions. You might feel nervous. You might feel sad about what you are leaving behind. You might feel uncertain about exactly how it will unfold. But underneath all of that, if it is truly my leading, there will be a quiet peace that holds. On the other hand, if a decision is not from me, if it is coming from fear or pressure or desire or the urgency of your emotions, there will be an unsettledness, a restlessness, a twisting feeling in your gut that no amount of reasoning or convincing yourself will fully quiet. Do not ever ignore that feeling. That is me yelling stop. Now I also want to talk to you about something very important in this area of decisions. The difference between an open door that I have prepared for you and a door that you are forcing open yourself. When I open a door for you, it comes with a sense of ease and grace. It does not mean there will be no challenges. It does not mean there will be no hard work involved, but the path will open in a way that does not require you to compromise your values, damage your health, abandon the people who love you, or violate your peace. When my door opens, it fits. When you try to force a door that I did not open, there will always be a cost. Something in your gut knows it. Something in your spirit protests, even while your mind tries to convince you to keep pushing. Learn to recognize the difference. Learn to walk away from forced doors with confidence rather than regret. Because I closed doors on purpose. Every door that slammed in your face that felt like rejection was actually my protection. Every relationship that ended when you did not want it to. Every job you did not get. Every opportunity that slipped through your fingers. Every plan that fell apart at the last minute. I was in every single one of those moments, fiercely protecting you from something you could not see. So dry your tears over those closed doors today. They were not failures. They were redirections. My dear child, let us stay right here for a moment, because there is something else I need to address, something that is very close to my heart for you today. I need to talk to you about the past. I see you looking back. I see the way the memories replay. I see how the regret quietly settles into your chest in the quiet moments. The relationship that fell apart. The opportunity you let slip by. The words you wish you had said or never said. The choice you made that you would give anything to take back. The version of your life you had planned that looks nothing like the life you are actually living. And I see how you have let all of that become evidence against yourself. Evidence that you are not enough. Evidence that you have already ruined things too badly to be restored. Evidence that your best days are behind you, and what is left is just managing the damage. My child, I need to speak very clearly to you right now. That is a lie. Every single bit of it. Your past mistakes do not define this moment. Your old failures do not determine your future. The broken pieces of what used to be do not have the final word about what is coming. I am a God who makes new things. I am a Father who redeems what the enemy meant for destruction. I am a restorer of things that look completely beyond repair, and your life, your beautiful, complicated, messy, still unfolding life, is not beyond my reach. Stop holding your past against yourself. Stop reviewing the file of your worst moments like a judge preparing a verdict. Stop letting guilt be the chain that keeps you frozen in yesterday while your future is trying to call you forward. Guilt is one of the enemy's favorite weapons precisely because it sounds so reasonable. It tells you that you should feel bad about what you did, and maybe at first, conviction was helpful. Maybe it led you to change, to apologize, to grow. But there comes a point where guilt is no longer producing growth. It is just producing paralysis. And that is when it has stopped being helpful and started being harmful. So I say to you today, with all the love and tenderness of a father who has already paid for every mistake you have ever made and every mistake you will ever make, receive my forgiveness. Really receive it. Not just as a concept, not just as something you know in your head, but as a reality you feel in the deepest part of who you are. You are forgiven. Completely, unconditionally, without a single asterisk, without any conditions that you still have to meet. You are forgiven and you are loved, and you are seen not as who you were at your worst, but as who you are becoming in my hands. And here is something beautiful I want you to see about those scars from your past. I know you want to hide them. I know you see them as proof of your weakness, your failure, your unworthiness, but I see them completely differently. I see those scars as proof that you survived, proof that what tried to destroy you did not finish the job, proof that you are still here, still breathing, still in the process of becoming. And I take those very places that were wounded, and I use them to give you a depth of compassion, a depth of understanding, a depth of empathy for other hurting people that you never could have had without going through the fire yourself. Your story, including the painful chapters, is not a mistake. It is a masterpiece in progress. And the author of your story is not done writing yet. So stop trying to tear out the pages you do not like. Trust the whole story to the one who is writing it. Trust me with the parts that do not make sense yet. Trust me with the chapters that felt like endings, but are actually turning points. Trust me with the places that still hurt. I am weaving all of it together into something that one day you will look back on and say, I could not see it then, but I can see it now. Every single thing was part of the plan. So stand up today. Stand up and stop looking back at the smoking ashes of what burned down. What burned down needed to burn down, so that something new and stronger and more beautiful could be built in its place. Stop lingering in the graveyard of your old life. The person you used to be, the scared, exhausted, bound version of you, that person is being transformed. And I am calling the new version of you forward. The bolder version. The freer version. The version that knows who they are and whose they are. That is who I am speaking to right now. That is who is being called forward into this next chapter. Now, friends, if you are still with me, and I believe you are because this message was made for you, I want to take a moment right here to remind you that this channel exists as a place of daily refuge and renewal. If this message has touched your heart today, please take a moment to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Pass it on to the person in your life who is struggling, who is doubting, who is carrying something too heavy, who needs to know that they are not forgotten and not alone. And if you have not already subscribed, please do it right now. Hit that subscribe button and join this community of people who are choosing every day to grow, to trust, to heal, and to move forward together. My dear child, let us now talk about something that I know is on your heart. The question of what comes next. The question of how to move forward when you are not sure which direction to go. Because I know that for many of you, that is the ache underneath everything else. You want to move. You want to grow. You want to step into something better. But the path feels unclear. The road ahead looks foggy. And you are afraid that if you take a step in the wrong direction, you will make everything worse. Let me begin by telling you something that I hope brings immediate relief. I am not a father who gives you a calling and then hides the way to fulfill it. I am not in the business of setting you up to fail. I do not show you a destination and then remove all the road signs. I am a God who guides. I am a father who leads. I am a shepherd who goes before you, who walks beside you, who surrounds you from behind. I do not leave you to figure it out alone, but here is how I guide. I rarely give you the whole map all at once. I reveal one step at a time. I show you what is right in front of you, and I ask you to trust me with what comes after that. Not because I am withholding from you. Not because I enjoy watching you struggle with uncertainty, but because I know that if I gave you the whole picture today, you would take it and run ahead of my timing. You would skip the preparation that each step is building in you. You would miss the growth that comes specifically from learning to trust me in the fog, rather than only when everything is perfectly clear. So when the path feels unclear, here is what I need you to do. Come to me first. Before you call your friend, before you search the internet, before you ask everyone around you for their opinion, come to me. Sit with me. Be quiet with me. Bring your question, your confusion, your decision, your uncertainty to me in prayer and genuinely wait for my response. I am always speaking. I am always guiding. But my voice is gentle and my leading is quiet. You cannot hear a whisper when you are surrounded by noise. You have to come to a quiet place. You have to be still enough to receive what I am trying to give you. And as you wait, open my word. Read the scriptures with a hungry heart, not as a duty, not as a religious exercise, but as a conversation. Ask me to show you what you need to see. Ask me to highlight the words that apply to your specific situation. Ask me to make the truth you need jump off the page and land in your spirit. Because that is exactly how I work. I take the living words of Scripture and I breathe life into them for your specific moment. The verse that someone else read and felt nothing from can become the exact word that breaks something open in you, because I am speaking it directly to your situation. I also speak to you through circumstances. I will allow doors to close when the path behind them is not right for you. I will allow things to fall apart when they are holding you back from something better. I will allow delays when rushing would put you in the wrong place at the wrong time. Learn to read those circumstances not as random bad luck, but as deliberate guidance. Not everything that falls apart is a disaster. Sometimes it is me rearranging things to get you into better alignment. And I speak to you through peace. I will confirm my leading with a sense of peace that settles in you even when the decision is hard. I will also warn you away from wrong paths with a persistent unsettledness that no amount of rationalization can fully quiet. Pay close attention to both of those signals. They are more reliable than the loudest advice any person could ever give you. If these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. My dear child, I know you have been trying to figure out your life largely on your own. I know you have been working so hard, thinking so hard, worrying so hard, trying to see far enough ahead to make sure you do not take a wrong step. And I need you to hear this from me today. You were never meant to carry that weight alone. The burden of having to know everything, control everything, see everything, and figure everything out, that was never mine for you. That is why it feels so crushing. That is why you are so tired. Because you have been carrying a weight that belongs to me, not to you. Give it back to me. Give me the planning and the worrying and the trying to control outcomes. Give me the timeline pressure and the comparison to others and the fear of making a mistake. Give me the decisions you cannot figure out and the situations you cannot fix. Give me the relationships you cannot heal and the doors you cannot open no matter how hard you push. Give me all of it, and in exchange, I will give you something far better. I will give you my peace, which is not dependent on circumstances being perfect. I will give you my wisdom, which goes far beyond what your mind can figure out on its own. I will give you my presence, which is all the company you will ever truly need. Because here is the truth at the center of everything I have been saying to you today. You do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. You do not need to be completely healed to begin again. You do not need to see the whole path to take the next step. You just need to trust me. That is it. That is the whole invitation. Trust me more than your fear. Trust me more than your past. Trust me more than the voice that tells you it is too late, or you are too far gone, or too broken, or too behind. Trust me more than the loudness of your emotions in their most turbulent moments. Trust me more than what makes sense to your limited human perspective. Just trust me. And when you do, I want to tell you what begins to happen. Something shifts in the atmosphere around your life. The heaviness that has been sitting on your chest begins to lift. The fog that has been clouding your thinking begins to clear. The anxiety that has been your constant companion begins to lose its grip. Not because your circumstances change overnight, but because something in you changes. Something settles. Something releases. You begin to move through your life from a place of security rather than fear. From a place of trust rather than panic. From a place of genuine peace rather than the performance of having it all together. And from that place, from that anchored, peace-filled, trusting place, your decisions become cleaner. Your relationships become more honest. Your vision becomes clearer. Your capacity to love, to create, to contribute, to grow, expands in ways that simply were not possible when you were running on empty and carrying everything alone. This is the life I designed for you. This is what your story is supposed to feel like from the inside. Not perfect. Not without challenges. Not without seasons of hardship and uncertainty and growth. But undergirded by a deep, unshakable confidence that you are held, you are led, you are loved, and you are never, not even for a single moment, alone. Now I want to talk to you about surrender. Because this word, surrender, makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It sounds like weakness. It sounds like giving up. It sounds like losing. But what I am inviting you into is the opposite of all of those things. True surrender is one of the most powerful acts a person can ever make. It is the act of opening your hands and saying, I trust you more than I trust my own grip on this. It is the act of stepping back from the exhausting job of trying to be the God of your own life and letting the actual God step in. It is the act of saying, Thy will be done, not mine. And those words, as simple as they sound, have the power to completely transform a life. But I know why surrender feels so frightening. It feels frightening because somewhere deep inside, you believe that if you give me total control, I will take away the things you love most. You worry that my plan for your life might be harder than what you would choose for yourself. You are afraid that my yes and my no might not match the yes and no that you are hoping for. And so you hold on. You grip tighter. You keep trying to steer. And I understand that. I understand the fear behind it. But I need you to hear me clearly on this. I am a good father. I am not looking for ways to make your life harder or take away the things that bring you joy. My plans for you are designed to bring you to a place of genuine flourishing. My plans go far deeper and last far longer than anything you could engineer for yourself. When I ask you to surrender something, it is always because I can see what you cannot see. I can see that what you are gripping so tightly is actually holding you back from something far greater. I can see that the path you are determined to walk leads somewhere you would not choose if you could see the whole picture. So trust the goodness behind the surrender. Trust that an open hand receives more than a clenched fist ever could. Trust that the thing you give to me does not disappear. It is transformed. And trust that a father who gave everything for you is not in the business of giving you less than his absolute best. Surrendering your will to mine does not mean you become passive. It does not mean you stop dreaming or working or making decisions. It means that you bring all of your dreaming and working and deciding into partnership with me, rather than trying to do it all independently. It means you check in with me before you move forward. It means you hold your plans loosely enough that when I redirect you, you can follow without breaking. It means you measure your desires against my truth, rather than only against what feels good in the moment. And when you live that way, when your will is genuinely aligned with mine, there is a profound clarity and confidence that comes. The confusion about which way to go begins to resolve. The paralysis of indecision begins to lift. You begin to move with a sense of direction and purpose that comes not from having everything figured out, but from being in step with the one who knows exactly where you are going and exactly how to get you there. I want to close this part of our conversation with something I need you to really sit with, something that I want to be the foundation of everything you carry forward from this moment. My child, you matter to me, not because of what you produce, not because of how well you perform, not because of how spiritual you appear or how together your life looks from the outside. You matter to me because you are mine. You are my child. You are created in my image, loved with an everlasting love, and held in the palm of a hand that will never let you go. On the days when you feel like you are failing, on the days when the doubt is louder than the faith, on the days when the progress feels impossibly slow, on the days when you look at your life and you cannot see the beauty in it yet, on all of those days, and there will be those days, I need you to come back to this. I am your father. You are my child. And I have not forgotten you. Not for a single second. Not in any season. Not in any darkness. Not in any waiting. Not in any mess. Not ever. I am here. Right here. Closer than your next breath. Ready to guide you, heal you, strengthen you, and carry you through whatever comes next. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have it all together. You just have to come. Just come as you are, with all your questions and your fears and your hopes and your messes. Come, and let me meet you there, because I always do. My dear child, we have been on quite a journey together in this conversation. And before we bring it to a close, I want to say one more thing that I hope you will carry with you into this very week, into this very day, into this very hour. Your next move can change everything. Not because it has to be dramatic or perfect or world-shaking, but because every single choice you make is either moving you toward the life I designed for you or away from it. And that means every moment holds more potential than it might appear to hold on the surface. The choice to pause instead of react. The choice to trust instead of panic. The choice to surrender instead of control. The choice to protect your peace instead of sacrificing it. The choice to forgive yourself instead of staying frozen in guilt. The choice to stay still long enough to hear my voice instead of rushing ahead on your own. Each of those choices, made one at a time, day after day, builds a life that is genuinely different from the one anxiety and fear would build on your behalf. So take this with you today, not as pressure, not as a to-do list, not as another thing to be perfect at. Take it as an invitation, an open, warm, tender invitation from a Father who loves you more than you currently have the capacity to fully comprehend. Come to me. Trust me. Let me lead, and watch what I build in your life when you stop trying to build it alone. Now, before I give you the closing words of today's message, I want to say this. If today's message has moved something in you, if something has shifted or softened, or opened up as you listened, please do not let this moment pass without responding to it. Share this with someone who is struggling. Leave a comment below telling me what touched your heart today, because I read them, and I am grateful for each one. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to receive this kind of message every single day, then subscribe to this channel and make it part of your daily spiritual nourishment. You deserve a daily reminder that you are loved, you are guided, and your life is in very good hands. And now, my dear child, let me give you the closing words that I want to rest in your heart long after this message ends. You came into this time carrying weight, and I pray that as these words have washed over you, some of that weight has already begun to lift. I want you to know that everything we have spoken about today, the peace, the trust, the surrender, the release of the past, the hope for what is coming, none of it was accidental. These words found you on purpose, at this exact moment in your life, because you are not forgotten, because your story is not over, because the God who holds the universe in his hands also holds your name, your tears, your dreams, your fears, and your future in those same hands. So go forward today, not with pressure but with peace, not with the weight of having to figure it all out, but with the lightness of knowing you are held, not with fear of making the wrong move, but with the confidence that when you walk closely with me, every stumble becomes a lesson and every step becomes progress. You are loved, you are known, you are never alone, and your next move taken in trust, taken in peace, taken in my presence, truly can change everything. I believe that for you. Now it is time for you to believe it too.